Юрий, слышно меня? Господа присутствующие, это просто проверка пока еще вебинар не начался. Юрий, скажите, пожалуйста, слышно меня, видно? Ага, хорошо. Я сейчас пролистаю презентацию, скажите, пожалуйста, видно ли все? Листается?
Okay, thank you very much. Так, давайте мы с вами начнем наше занятие с того,
Отлично.
что мы скажем,
Сейчас попробую проиграть видео. Так, скажите, пожалуйста, слышно будет и видно ли видео?
Hello, everybody. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, thank you very much. Так, давайте мы с вами начнем наше занятие с того, что мы скажем, какой сегодня день.
Ага, эхо. Ну, тут я боюсь, я ничего не сделаю, могу просто немножко убавить звук, да? Ну, ладно, проигрывается и самое главное. Окей, хорошо. Так. Окей. Отлично, ну все. All right. Hello, everyone. We still have like 3 minutes before we start. And there are 183 of us. That's amazing. Right. Just, before we start, can you please put a plus in the chat if you can hear and see me okay? Just so that I know that I'm not alone here. Good. Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Okay. Just 2 minutes then and we will start, all right? To make sure that everybody can join us. Good. Okay. Yeah, because technology is great until something happens. So I hope we can actually manage all right today and the technology will not let us down. All right. So I guess we can begin now anyway. So hello, dear colleagues. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this webinar today. My name is Anna. I am a Delta qualified teacher at Skyeng, and I also write articles for skyteach. It's a platform with useful resources and articles and videos and lesson plans for English teachers, so highly recommend it. Again, before we start, just a few organizational issues. So there is a chat. Most of you have found it because I see your highs and hellos and everybody is being so polite. That's very nice. There is also a special like a button at the top of the screen called questions. So if you click on it, a special window will open and you can put all your questions there. Because my plan is to address all the questions from you at the end of this presentation. So I allocated time for that, and I promise I will answer as many questions as I can. So please, if you want to make sure that your question is not left unanswered, put it there, please. All right? And finally, after this webinar, the recording of it, alongside with useful links and some resources from Skyeng, and the certificate of attendance will be sent to you. Hooray! So it's actually good, I guess. So everything will be organized afterwards as well. So we have 1 hour, 60 minutes. So let's start then, right? Okay, so today we talk about teaching senior learners. And it's a topic which isn't discussed very often, I'm afraid. We'll look at how senior students are different from other learners in their learning style, in their needs. We will also look at 5 most typical issues that teachers have with senior learners. And also we will watch extracts from lessons, video from the lessons with senior learners, and we will discuss some issues that we can observe there and how we can tackle them. And I do hope that video will work all right today. Okay, so first of all, however, I think it is worth defining what do we mean by senior learners, right? Who are senior learners? I guess the first thing that springs to mind is age, right? But what age? Are we talking about students over 70, 60, 55, 45? I'm 37. Am I a senior learner if I start a new language, if I start learning a new language or not? Well, first I'd like to learn a little bit over 50, huh? Yeah, I see your comments. Well, I'd like to learn a little bit about your experience regarding age, although we will talk about age issue a little bit later. So, could you please take part in this little survey? You will see it now on the screen. So, can you choose the option that thanks that suits you best? So, what kind of learners have you dealt with? Mm-hmm. Can you see the survey? Can you click on the options? Mm-hmm. Okay, so interesting. So so far, actually, most of you have dealt with people or students over 50 in your career. Wow. Interesting. All right. Thanks a lot. Yeah. So, so you guys have experienced the students of all ages, but most of you do have experience with very, mature adults. Okay. Thanks a lot. Okay. So, but I would argue, however, that the idea of seniority in when it comes to learning English is not in fact about age. Although some peculiarities we'll talk about today do tend to come with age. But some of the features we will discuss today can actually be found in learners of all ages, virtually all ages, even in young learners. So I would probably say that senior learners are they have this set of features that we are going to talk about. Okay, so who are senior learners? Like I said, they are not really of a definite age, so we cannot really talk about specific age here. Maturity, yeah, that's a good point, and motivation, yeah, true. So, in my opinion, personally, senior learners are those who first have a high level of self-awareness, so they know themselves very well. They know what they want and how they want it. They know how they prefer to study. They know their character, their feelings, and basically what they want from the course and from life in general. Secondly, they are those who have a wealth of life and work experience. So they know a lot, and what is excellent when it comes to studying English, they are ready to give their opinion on a wide range of topics because they have experience, they are ready to share it. So the situation when they have nothing to say about a certain issue is hardly ever a problem. Very often they are experts in certain fields, like they are doctors, lawyers, engineers, accountants, experienced housewives, after all. So, and they have achieved a lot, so they do have things to talk about. They are excellent students. They hardly ever miss a class. They participate actively, and they always do their homework, most of them. Again, I'm talking about tendencies, right? Which is great. And I think it's also largely due to the fact that they are very motivated, and somebody already mentioned it in the chat. Moreover, we here have probably the best type of motivation we as teachers can wish. It's intrinsic. It comes from inside. So they do not need a certificate. Nobody pushes them to do the course. Instead, they often study for intellectual enjoyment because of curiosity. And even though other needs may be present, For example, they need English for traveling or for work, but they also enjoy the very process of study. Right. So as you can see, senior learners are just pure pleasure to teach. And it is true. It is true. They enjoy it. They have a very positive attitude to studies. They like to talk, to socialize, to share ideas. They are very diligent students. So excellent. However, we would probably not have this webinar today if there weren't problems as well, right? Some issues. Right. So, what issues may be associated with senior learners? First thing, from my experience at least, is that they doubt their learning abilities. They doubt the very fact that they can actually learn. They can voice it. So they can tell you, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's okay for me to start the course. I might be too old for that already. Yeah, right. Memory, we will talk about that too, right? They also may exhibit, nervousness or worry in a seemingly normal environment when you sometimes cannot really understand why are they so nervous? Like, what is exactly is going on? They are easily affected by things like temperature and light and noise, someone's tone, somebody's remark. So they are very, very sensitive to such things. They also believe, and this is exactly how I wanted to word it, they believe that they are slower than they used to be. So it might not be true, but they believe so. And they can be kind of apprehensive about new stuff, cautious about trying new things. And they usually come to you with strong expectations about what language learning is like. So, because on the one hand, and it's actually excellent, they have already developed learning strategies. They know how to help themselves to learn. But the disadvantage, the drawback, is that sometimes these expectations are so strong that it's difficult to change, and they believe that they know themselves as learners better than you do, than you as teacher do. So that might also be an issue. If they want a certificate, well, that's excellent. That just means that you can organize a course and test and all that, so that you give them the certificate. I'm just saying that is sometimes, or more often than not, they don't need any. But if they do, it's amazing, and it's also great because you can show them their achievements. So it's actually even better if they need it. Right. So now, while kids are naturally, adapted to learning new things, adults use their life experience to learn, right? Which is a good, which is a great benefit. So learning learning a language doesn't necessarily get harder with age, but it does get different. So can you come up with more positive and not so positive features about senior learners? Like, you can put your ideas here in the chat, please, because I would really like to have some feedback on what you think. Intrinsic motivation, yeah, we mentioned that, right? Yeah. So, translators trying to, yeah, right. So this Soviet Union school may have its effect. Yeah, memory may be an issue, right? Yeah, they do act as dictators and tell teachers what to do. Yes, they are very disciplined. You're right. Yes, they are perfect students in that sense, and they enjoy learning. Yeah, I agree. Little spare time, yeah, sometimes it may be an issue. If they're still working, yeah. Right. They know how to teach them even better than you, right? Yes, I agree. Yeah, so as we have identified some advantages and disadvantages, we will today focus on the issues, right? Because as teachers, we need to know how to solve them, right? So, and the first issue we will focus on was this doubt of learning ability. So they actually, they have this feeling of insecurity. So they can tell you, like, oh, I'm not sure I can do this. I'm not really ready. They also don't believe they can progress, especially if they are of a lower level. So you can see that English seems so big to them, and they progress so little that they may be, kind of put a bit back by this fact, and they focus on difficulties and mistakes. So every time they produce something, you can hear comments like, "Oh my God, I made this mistake again. I forgot this word again." Even though they produced a long speech or piece of language, but they do tend to focus on mistakes a lot. So how can we help them in that case? Of course, first of all, we can praise them. Ladies and gentlemen, do not underestimate the power of praise in that case, because when they hear that they are doing great, that you are happy with their results, they get more motivated, and they can actually continue experimenting and taking risks. So do praise them for correct sentences, for trying, for every correct sound almost. We probably need to regulate the challenge so that they do not find themselves in a situation when something is too difficult and they are not sure if they can manage it. So the challenge should be such that they believe that it's possible, it's manageable to do. Right? We need to provide them with some sort of evidence of their progress. So, like, look, this is what you can do now. Like, you can order food in a restaurant now, or you can have a conversation at a shop or something like this. You can even, tell them how many chapters you have covered so far, and so because they have made it that far, it probably means that they can continue too. It's probably a good idea to focus on achievement. Each time they focus on mistakes to balance it. So when they say, "Oh my God, I always forget this does," for example, and they always say do, and you can instead say, "Yes, but I understood everything you said, and you have been just talking for 5 minutes, so it's amazing. It's great." Because they focus on accuracy so much, and they do this job for you very often, you might want to focus on fluency more. So to balance this again, and to encourage them to speak at length, and to think less about every detail, because they do tend to do that. Right. So I would like you now to watch a short video from a lesson, and then put your ideas in the chat. What do you think? What issues you may observe are related to senior learners in that video, and then we will talk about how we can solve them. So first, what issues you can see? Okay. Just 1 second.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
All right, so it's a lesson. Don't pay too much attention to the teacher. Focus on the learners, please, and try to figure out what issues we may observe there. Okay, ready?
Today is Monday. It's possible. Возможно, и it is, и today is.
А могу сказать сегодня. Вот если сегодня, тогда today is on 7th of February. А если я хочу сказать, что просто сегодня, то it is on 7th of February.
Итак, thank you very much. What is the day of week today? День недели. Какой сегодня?
Today is Monday.
Okay.
А если я хочу сказать, что просто сегодня, то it is on 7th of February.
Так, thank you very much. What is the day of week today? День недели. Какой сегодня у нас?
Today is Monday.
All right. So that was the. Okay. So could you hear anything or nothing at all? Right. So they 30%. Okay. So somebody could, somebody couldn't. So, all right, thanks. So, those who could hear, okay, next time I will try to maybe, switch my mic off so that you could hear. So, can you tell me what issues you could observe in that particular piece of lesson? Yeah, they concentrate on what they say. Okay. Okay, sorry. Yeah, they teach each other, right? Yes, they're being bossy. And peer correction, which is not very well regulated in this case. They're afraid of mistakes, right? Yeah, they want support. Yes, I absolutely agree. One answer is probably better, so they want to know what exactly is right and automatically all other answers considered to be wrong. Yeah, well, yes, they're motivated. Right. Yeah, they want to answer, yes. Yeah, but they are too focused on accuracy. I agree. Yes. So basically, like I said, they focus on mistakes a lot. And it's very important for the teacher to praise them. Probably what this teacher, and she actually did it. She said, this is okay and this is okay. Maybe extra praise would also be good. In this case, so say, great, thank you, very good answer. What you can say. So basically tell them it's good, your answer is good. So to encourage them to speak and to ignore all those details. Any other suggestions? What would you do in this case if this situation happened in your lesson? Yeah, I agree. I also don't usually use Russian, but well, I don't want to discuss the teacher there because we don't know the context of it. So what would you do? Praise, okay. Yeah, to say excellent, Right, so just to praise more. Yeah, to ask other pupils, probably. Yeah, to ask a specific person, that would also help in this case. Yeah, right. So that so that there is no this peer correction, which is a bit negative here, right? Okay, good. So all in all, basically we ourselves need to believe that, and to honestly believe that senior learners can succeed because they can. And if we believe in that, we will probably transmit this idea to them as well, because they totally can learn a language. There is nothing in the world that can actually stop them or prevent them from doing it. They are totally capable of that. And all those doubts that they have, basically, we can help them, and we should help them to overcome those doubts, right? Okay, so I just see that some of you have technical issues. Ladies, gentlemen, if you have technical issues, yeah, you can log out and log in again. You can also regulate the volume of my volume. If you put a mouse on the video, you will see a bar on the right, and you can regulate the sound there. Right. Okay. So let's continue then. And the next problem that we identified was the level of anxiety, right, in senior learners. So what do we mean by anxiety? Basically, well, they are afraid of speaking. The language barrier may be bigger than usually that you usually find in other ages. They often pay so much attention to accuracy that it's difficult to hear anything from them like more or less coherent. So they stop themselves. They think about every word and every sound. And you may also notice that a change of teacher is a huge stress. So they may resist that. If there is a new member in a group, it may also cause stress and anxiety. And if there are any other, unexpected things happening, it could also, be problematic for them. So a new type of activity or anything, new room even may be kind of cautious, maybe considered cautious on their side. So how can we help them to reduce anxiety? So I believe that, well, first we should make sure that seniors are given enough time, right? So that they actually can have time to think, to come up with the ideas before they start speaking. Because when teacher is young and energetic and impatient and goes like, come on, you can do this. But all they need is just a pause and quiet time so that they can actually, think and be ready. Secondly, you might also need to go an extra mile to prepare them for each activity, and to prepare them carefully, to pre-teach vocabulary, to pre-teach grammar, to present and practice a lot before asking them to produce language, to check instructions, to check the content, so to make sure that when you actually give instructions them to do something, they are really ready, and because you don't want them to fail, and all the stress will be just dawned on them. So you want them to be secure and safe and live in a more or less predictable environment, right? Okay, so in this case, probably the classical PPP, presentation practice, production or performance structure might be the best. Because something like test, teach, test approach may not work that well because they might find it overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And finally, you might want to consider the group dynamic, a bit more carefully, right? So it may be better to form a group of, taking age into account. If you as a teacher cannot really influence that, like you are not responsible for, creating groups and all that, at least what you can do is to carefully arrange pair work and group work, because normally they, people who are older, they are not really ready to work with very young people. Although there are exceptions, there are all, even, people of very advanced age who are happy to work with youngsters. But if it's not the case, then you need to take that into account, right? Okay. Also, I believe that maybe you need to pay special attention to a gap in pace or temperament or attitude in your group. And in the worst case scenario, if you see that it doesn't work, you might offer one-to-one lessons to a senior who, for example, studies in a group. If it's too much, if he or she cannot catch up with the rest of the group, if he or she always needs more time and feels under a lot of pressure there. So it might also be an option, right? Yeah, I agree. Okay. Right. So, again, I would like you to watch, a few videos. Okay. And, I will, mute my, my microphone for this case. Okay. So that, so that you can hear better, I hope. Okay. So don't be afraid. I'm not going anywhere. I will just disappear for a few seconds. Okay, so, but please stay here, watch the videos, again, think what issues there are, and how we can address them, okay? Okay, will you be able to hear and see it? So, what issues did you notice in this case? Memory, okay. All right. Anything else? Lack of vocabulary, right? So, do you think this guy was he was ready to talk in pairs? So this pair was actually ready to talk. Scared to tell. Yes, he is very motivated to talk. Yes, he is. Yeah. Okay. So there is an argument if he was or wasn't ready. Okay. Yeah, he is scared of mistakes. Right. Right, yeah. He was, yeah, he knew the words, he wasn't very fluent. Yeah, the task was not clear. The task, I actually left it, a little bit outside because it was about, like, there were questions on the board and they had to discuss them in pairs. Right. But all in all, you could see that, for this person, he cannot really, move on because they started actually in pair talk in their native language because they cannot move on without, certain words. So they need them and they cannot really move on. They just get stuck there. So they need a specific word and they can't even go around that. And yeah, they definitely were not given enough time even to solve this problem. Yeah, I agree. Good. I will show you a couple more extracts, okay, from this video. You will see, so to compare, in the first one, there will be young students and like young adults. And in the second part, you will see older adults. Again, I would like you to compare the attitude and the behavior, okay? Again, I will mute myself and let you listen and watch, all right? All right, so what did you observe in the behavior of the pairs of young adults and then pair with the shy, nervous? The teacher is great, I agree. Yeah, so, yeah, feel uncomfortable, right. So, well, all in all, you could see that, all the learners, they are not very comfortable when there is somebody else, somebody they don't know, when they get distracted, easily, right? They cannot concentrate and it's difficult for them to, pay attention and to focus on what they want to say while something is going on. While younger adults are fine with that. Yeah, more confident, right. Again, of course, you can find young adults who would not be comfortable with camera, right, or new person in the room. But again, I'm talking about tendencies because usually the older people are, the more, like, the shyer they will be in that case, right. Yeah, so, yeah, how we can solve this issue? Yeah, I guess don't come too close with the camera. Try to be as far as we can from them. Yeah, they don't like to be in the center of events. Yeah, like too much attention, probably not a good thing either. I agree. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, like if you put them together, I also agree with Caroline. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, good. So let's continue so that we definitely have time for everything, including your questions, because I already see there are 6 questions in the question box, so please use that. Right. So, all in all, again, just, sometimes we just need to give them time and to prepare them a little bit more. They will be ready. They will talk. They will participate. They might just need a little more of time and preparation. Just a little bit more. That's all. Next one, the next problem that we were talking about is the problem of environment or how sensitive they might be to the environment, right? So, look, obviously, a lot of us with age have problems with vision, problems with hearing, and it's just objective factor, so and difficult to change, right? So also concentration might be an issue. You have just seen this in the previous video. So noise or uncomfortable seats or any other things may lead to lack of attention. And you may find your students daydreaming or complaining about discomfort, suggesting to change the room. They may, get tired much quicker than others. So how we can address this? Obviously, we need to just take these things into account, right? So, to be honest, this is the smallest of all problems because all we need to do is to speak clearly or to adjust the volume of the player for them to hear better, to make sure that the room that we choose for our classes is not noisy, or there wasn't a group of teenagers in this room before that, so it's not messy and smelly. You might need to consider larger print type for them, or because if you make copies or give them something with fine print, it might be a huge obstacle for them to read, right? And it's easy thing to solve, actually. And, offer regular breaks is important because they need them. They need time to breathe in, breathe out. And perhaps the most important thing, surprisingly, is that, if you somehow try to make the atmosphere as cozy and comfortable and relaxed as you can, offer them drink or, even maybe walk around, or just chat with them. Because, your role as a teacher in the classroom kind of, makes them feel that, you have the power, and they have to do it your way. And it's nice to know that during the break they can just chat with you about their life, maybe in their native language, so that you know them better and there is this personal contact between you, right? Okay, so then I suggest we will look at one more video, one more extract from the video, very short. Again, try to tell me what issues you may find there. Related to physical environment as well, by the way. Okay, just a second. Okay, so you see, he does not forget anything. All right, so what issues did you notice in this case, in this short extract from a lesson? Yeah, the idea of throwing the hat, young person catches it, these guys couldn't, so they might feel a bit embarrassing about it, especially if it happens often. Yeah, he's too concentrated on accuracy. You are right. So he cannot really, move on until he finds the exact words. Yeah, but he takes his time. Yes, that's true, because he needs it. Yeah, there wasn't a ball, there was a hat, and they couldn't catch it. Right. Yeah, it could have been an insult, or I'm not sure how, but it may be an issue, right? Because it's not really a physical activity there. The teacher, well, perhaps because the teacher is active, dynamic, he's demanding in that sense. He wants things to go faster. Yeah, right. Yes, I agree with you. So how can you improve this? Like when you want students to answer questions, and to work as a whole group. Yeah, maybe to slow down a little bit. Yeah, maybe. No, the teacher is good, no doubt. But there are just, we all have our flaws and benefits. Might be, well. Yeah. Maybe like to work on instructions, more carefully, so that they know what exactly is going to happen. That they need to catch the hat. It is the task for fluency, though, yeah, because they have they were just answering the questions in pairs, and now the teacher wants them to do it in the group as a whole. Okay. Well, throwing things, yeah, Yulia, I might agree with you that it's okay. It's possible to do this with adults too, but they just need to be ready for that, right? And willing to do this. You need to make sure that they want to participate. If they agree, then it's fine. Okay, good. Right. So let's continue then. Thanks a lot for your comments. And the next issue that we are going to look at, sorry. Oops. Sorry, there was a, Right. So, yeah, before we continue, just a little comment that, again, I wanted to repeat that, this issues related to physical environment are actually easy to solve if you think about that. So help them with, temperature, hearing and seeing things. It shouldn't be an issue, really. The noise, again, try to find a solution if you can, right? oh, the 71-year-old likes singing song. That's excellent. That's excellent. That's amazing. No, again, we are talking about tendencies, right? So some of them are exceptionally young in behavior, right? So the next problem would be the fact that that senior learners worry about the fact that they believe that they are slower and that they cannot adjust to new things as effectively as they did it before. So how can you notice that? They will actually ask you to slow down. They will ask you to give them more time. They will tell you like, oh, excuse me, dear, can I please have one more minute? Not so quick, please. Well, you may also notice that they forget new stuff quicker than maybe students of other age. And on the other hand, they remember their mistake, like the wrong patterns. Like their fossilized mistakes are really difficult to get rid of. Like at the moment, now I have a student, she's upper intermediate level, somewhere around 50 probably, and she always says, for my opinion. And although she knows that the correct version is in my opinion, she knows that, but in her speech she always forgets. So it's very difficult to actually, change that pattern once it's wrong. And they also easily overwhelmed with information. So if, for example, you give them a text or audio with a lot of new words or grammar structures, because they focus so much on details, for them it might be just overwhelming. It's too much. They believe that they don't understand a thing, so they will be very nervous about that. Right? So what can we do about this? Basically, we probably should, apart from giving them more time, also try to help them memorize things. So to include those activities in the lesson. So spend more time on drilling, on practice, on memory games, on memorizing stuff, in the class. Not to just assign it as homework so that they can practice at home and that's enough. Because it might not be enough for them. We can also recycle, regularly, so that they have to extract the necessary vocabulary or grammar or pronunciation or anything from their head again and again, and those channels are clear. We probably need to plan lessons so that there is enough time for them to complete the activities, to work on their mistakes or when we give them feedback, to maybe, when they work on them, they should not be under additional pressure of time. So time tests, it's probably a good idea to avoid them or to be very cautious with them, or maybe give them more time, more than you normally would. And also the material is probably better to be presented in some sort of small chunk, so that it's not, like I said, a text with a lot of new words, but we go from, maybe paragraph by paragraph, so that they can concentrate their attention on something smaller, or we prepare them a lot before they approach the, something as huge as this. Right, so again, use music. That's an interesting idea. Okay, why not? Especially if you play their favorite music. And in English, maybe. Right, so again, I would like you to watch just a short video, which can actually illustrate this problem. And again, give me some feedback what you observe in this video and how you would help them to solve this, okay? Okay, so what problem did you see in that video? Yeah, uncertain about her ability to pronounce, right? So, and very timid, right? And she doesn't really want to even to try. Like, no. That sounds funny. Not gonna do this. Yeah, she didn't even try because, she doesn't really want. Teacher helps, I agree. And you see, eventually, teacher goes her way. So he doesn't push her, and that's probably a good thing, right? Even like at this stage, she's not ready. Yeah, she's scared to pronounce, right? Right. Yeah, it might be a good idea to let her finish. I agree with Christina, with you. Yes, because it was she couldn't even finish her answer because he stopped her, right? Yeah, but you see, she actually exhibits here one of the typical features of senior learners. They are like when they don't want to look funny. So it's to be on the safe side. She doesn't even want to try. So she believes that it's still better to just not to do it at all than to do it in a funny way and to look silly. Right. Right. So in this case, well, what can we do? Yeah, I guess probably like you said, pushing probably won't work. So it might be a good idea to just take a step back and say, okay, fine. You can say to concentrate instead of to say thoughtful, as he was trying to do that. Right. Okay. So all in all, the idea is that we need to be patient with them. Really need to be patient. Give them time. Wait until they are ready. So because pushing probably will only meet resistance and not much more. Right. And the last problem that we were talking about was the problem of their own idea of how to learn, and them teaching the teacher how they want to do this, right? So you may find them asking you to do something you otherwise wouldn't do. For example, translate all the time, or give them grammar tables, or give them script so that they can learn it at home. And they would be very persistent in this desire. They might be like, no, I know better. I always did it before. I know it helps me. Please do this. And if you try to use modern approach, like playing a game or watching videos, again, some of them might be, happy to try. Some, though, may be quite cautious about that because, again, they might be afraid that they would look silly. This is not their image of language learning, which may come from school or from the university. So they may have this very, very, fully formed image of what English learning is about. And when you suggest to play a game or to listen to a song or to watch a video, they might not really take it seriously and think that this is not where learning is happening. Right. So how can we deal with that? First of all, however surprising, I would actually recommend not to insist on the method, at least at the beginning, so that they have some time during the lesson where they can do things in the way they're used to doing, so that it's not all totally new and shocking, that they are overwhelmed not only by English but also by the very format of what's going on. Right? You, although may gradually suggest trying, like, okay, so today let's try this and see. And you really need to see. And to really, be very careful about listening to their feedback, how they found it. Did they enjoy it? Did they not? Are they willing to try it again next time? Did they find it useful or not? In the worst case scenario, because it may happen, for example, you have a senior learner who told you or the school about his or her needs, something like this. I have 1 month before my trip to my son who lives in the United States, so I need to be able to speak in restaurants, in a shop. This is my goal. I have 1 month. And then the same student comes to you and says, okay, so let's start with the alphabet and grammar rules. And you can see that there is an obvious discrepancy in, between what he wants and how he wants it to happen. So in this case, it's probably a good idea just to talk to the student after the class, or before, and to explain why you think like you teach, it's better for him to teach, to learn the way that you suggest, not the way that he believes would help him. Right, so again, we will watch a video. Since most of you are Russian, I guess you will recognize the pattern and what we are going to talk about. So again, watch a video, tell me what you observe and what kind of learning strategy this student is obviously using. Okay? Right, so what kind of learning strategy does this learner obviously use? Yeah, she's calm, I agree. Does it sound to you like a memorized text, or do you think she's actually producing it at this very moment? Memorized? Yeah, no, I agree. Nadezhda's English is amazing, amazing. Yeah, look, I would probably agree with you. It looks like she learned it. So, and because this is a strategy, which was used in Soviet schools, right, when they memorize texts. And, this learner may find it more comfortable to actually, to be prepared, to feel that, okay, I did my homework, I am ready, so I can now tell about myself, which is great. Why not, right? Why not? So maybe it's okay, at least somewhere in the lesson, to allow her to do that because she feels comfortable. She feels it's an achievement because she feels very secure in this environment. Right, and the last video that we are going to watch today, it's going to be funny video, just for your entertainment, but I think although it's a satire and they do make fun of it, but I think you can actually recognize some of your students in that video too. All right, so one more video and we will discuss it as well, okay? Right. Well, I hope you finally watched it because it was also, took me some time before the video started playing. Right. So, like I said, it's funny, but what kind of idea do you think they're trying to deliver? And like, what is the fun about actually? Yeah, lack of confidence. Okay. Yes, the anxiety, right. So, like she's very nervous. She needs to have her answer. Like she needs really to answer the question. She needs to understand. Yes, I agree. Absolutely. They do try to catch every word, to understand everything. They have to do that. Right. Yeah, she needs to understand everything. Yeah, not okay with understanding. Right, I agree. Okay, right. So, all in all, we have probably covered the main features, the main idiosyncrasies of seniors as learners. I hope so anyway, right? So, after all, they are actually still amazing students, really amazing. They just might actually know better, they know themselves a lot. So sometimes we can learn from them, from their experience, and also from how they learn, and make our own conclusions sometimes, because they actually often demonstrate that they, how strongly they believe in how things should be done. Well, this is probably something we should learn from them as well. Okay, so now I suppose it's time for your questions, right? So we'll now look at the question box and see. So how to make the Soviet people to change their way of learning? Well, like I said, try to be, cautious, and very, kind of sensitive about that, because they feel comfortable learning that way, although you might find it very ineffective, right? So you may try to gradually move from there. So give them, okay, fine, they want to memorize a text, this is the condition they come to you at first, so just just start with that, and then maybe start asking questions about the text, or changing the text, asking them to substitute words so that you gradually move from that, somewhere else. Maybe it will help. One of my students wants me to use only the grammar translation method. How to persuade some students that this method of teaching currently is not the most effective? Well, another thing that you may actually use is just to talk to your students and just say, look, you were studying using this grammar translation method. How far did it take you? How long were you studying English using that? Like 5 years at school? So what's the result? So you see, obviously something is wrong there, right? So let's try, give me 2 lessons, 3 lessons. I will try to do it my way, and we will discuss and compare this, so that, perhaps the student will eventually enjoy it and see the result of it and the effectiveness of it. Right. Could you please hint some ways to praise, but not to overdo that? Right. Well, typically we talk about nonverbal praise, like doing good job, excellent, just showing that. Or you can also just, do this verbally, like say, good job, excellent pronunciation, good grammar. That sentence you said was 100% correct, amazing. So just, refer to specific words or structures or things that they did or said and say, that was good. That was good. This is exactly what I wanted from you. Thank you very much. How to persuade students not to translate? Well, again, you can, if at least they believe that it's a good idea not to translate, if they agree with you that it's not good, but it's a habit. In this case, you may just make, funny things like, okay, for every word, extra homework, extra exercise for homework. But if they believe that it's good to translate, then, well, there are actually a lot of questions, because, why do they ask you to translate? Does it mean that they do not understand what the teacher is saying? Because in this case, actually this question may be very, valid. I don't understand. If, however, they translate even when it's not necessary, again, you can show them, look, okay, I asked you questions, you replied, I understood, and then you asked me for translation. But you have just demonstrated to me that you understood. You can use it. And this translation thing, you just want to be on the safe side. But trust me, I see when you understand and when you don't understand, or I can understand when I can or cannot understand you. Right. The recording of this webinar will be sent to you via email today or tomorrow the latest, so you will receive it. Mm-hmm. I teach 2 adults for IELTS, and they are starters. And they want to get ready within a year. I'm afraid it's impossible, having just 2 lessons a week. How to explain that preparing for exam takes much time? Are we talking? Okay, look, it also depends what score in IELTS they need, right? Maybe they need like 3.0, I don't know, which is probably not the case. Well, I think it's actually easy. You can just give them IELTS test and show them the results. And see, and just show them, you see, this is where you are. And with studying 2 lessons a week, you will be here, but not where you want to be. Okay, right. So what's the most effective task for them? And also, how do you think is okay to spend 1 hour only for speaking? Or is it better to add more tasks? Well, that actually depends on the student. If they, because some senior learners, they love speaking, they like chatting, and if this is the case, and if you can organize this speaking in an effective way, 1 hour of speaking is fine. If they get tired quickly, lose motivation, you might want to vary activities in the lesson. So that depends. And the most effective task, to be honest, I don't know how to answer this question, because it depends what you want to teach them. If you talk about speaking, perhaps you you do want to pre-teach them to, you know, to go from, you know, teaching them vocabulary, teaching them grammar, and, you know, gradually leading them to the stage when they can actually use it and show you that, yes, I can talk somewhere at a, you know, check-in counter or order food at a restaurant or something like that. Right. Don't you think that the old teaching approach is somehow more effective, at least in some issues? I agree. It may be effective. It depends on the goals, right? If your student wants to read and translate, of course, grammar translation method would be the best. However, if your student wants to speak, then studying grammar rules, doing exercises silently might not be the best idea, right? So it depends on the goals. But like I said, if this is what they really insist on, it's probably best to give them at least some time, you know, in the lesson, so that they could actually do things their way. Okay, thank you all very much. I hope I addressed like at least the majority of the questions. Thank you all for taking part. And well, I probably need to show you the last slide here with the with all kinds of links in case you are interested in teaching at Skyeng, or if you're interested in more resources. Thank you very much. Hope you found it useful, and it was a pleasure to be here, although I could only read your comments and I couldn't really hear your voices, but I kind of could in a way. Thank you all very, very much, and I hope to meet you again at other webinars from Skyeng. Right? Thanks a lot, and goodbye.